Fresh Squeeze Noise, Eurorack patch 15. Usual setup here, ABCs from Bastl going to my output mixer. I got the clock from Circadian Rhythm feeding the Tempi clock. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the outputs of the Tempi clock and go into the clock in of the Lifeforms microsequence, and then we'll run that. I'm going to divide that down. I'm going to take the pitch output from that and go into the 1 volt per octave of Braids. And then I'm going to take the output of that and go into Clouds. And then I'm going to take the output of that and go into the mixer. So I'm going to take the output of the gate of the microsequence and go into the trigger in of Maths. And then I'm going to take the output of 1 and I'm going to go into the color of Braids. I'm going to take the output from Clouds that's going to the output mixer. I'm going to run it to a filter over here, and then I'm going to take that filter. Then I'm going to take the filter output and I'm going to run that to the reverb from Audio Damage, and then I'm going to take that output and I'm going to go to the output mixer. I think maybe the reverb was a bit much, so I'm going to take the reverb out of that and I'm just going to go straight from Clouds to the filter and then out to the output mixer. I'm going to check my scale here. I changed my scale to Dorian, and I'm going to kind of just mess with my notes. I'm going to adjust the settings on Clouds. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one more from the Tempi outs and go into the X clock of Rene, and then I'm going to divide that down. Then I'm going to take the quantized out from Rene and go into the 1 volt per octave of the STO. I'm going to take the STO's sub out and go into the input of the Lifeforms binary filter, and then I'm going to take that output and go straight to the mixer. I'm actually going to take the output from the binary filter coming from the STO and go into the input of channel 1 here for the VCA from Dopefer. And then I'm going to take the output, the sum output of this, and then go into the mixer. Now I'm going to take this output from Maths and go into the CV of the VCA. I'm actually going to take this away from the gate of the Lifeforms, and I'm just going to use a different Tempi clock. I'm going to take one of the outputs from the Circadian Rhythm and go into the trigger input of the DSM. I'm going to take the output of that and go into the ErrorBox. And then I'm going to take the output of the ErrorBox and go to our mixer. Now I'm going to switch to that channel. First, actually, I'm going to switch to, I'm going to turn the loop on and go to 64 mode, and then we'll go to that channel and I'll add a couple steps. Next, I'm going to take one more of the Circadian Rhythm channels and go into the trigger in on the Mutant Snare. And then I'm going to take the output of that and go straight to the mixer. Then we'll switch to that channel and I'm going to add a few steps. Now I'm going to take another output from the Circadian Rhythm and go into the open hi-hat trigger, and then I'm going to run the output from that and go straight to the mixer. Then I'll switch to that channel and add some steps. Now I'm going to take the end of Rise and then I'm going to run that into the clock in on the sequence 8. Then I'm going to run the CV out from that to the CV in on the DSM. Now I'm going to take one of the outputs from Circadian Rhythms and go into the trigger 1 of Peaks. Then I'm going to take the output of channel 1 and go straight into the mixer. Then I'm going to switch to that channel and I'm going to add some steps. Lastly, I'm going to go into, or from one of the Circadian Rhythm outputs to the trigger in on the Mutant Snare. Then I'm going to take the output from that and go into Dub Junior. And then I'm going to take the output from that and go to our mixer. Now I'm going to switch to that channel and add some steps. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe, and until next time.